back to the channel. Today I'm going to go through what it took to get this shed in place last year. I'm going to talk about the site preparation, removal of the soil, some of the obstacles that I had to go through, building the base and how I built the base and what it took. Also behind it, I had to build a 2 to 2.5 foot high dry stack wall. I'm going to talk about how I built that and how you can build one also, and then you'll see it move into place. In the beginning, there was just a mound of soil. So as I started digging, I was trying to be very careful of the roots around the tree. I wanted to pick around and I wanted to get the base as deep as I could, but I didn't want to kill the trees. So I just kept moving around, and I didn't get down as deep as I wanted to, but I did get far enough. The slope coming down from the shed to the driveway wasn't going to be too drastic, but you'll see at the very end, it's still up there a little bit. Now the roots of the tree, yes, I hit roots of the trees. I'm in between the trees right now, and I know even though I was being very cautious, I did damage some of those roots. I won't know the damage that it'll take until this coming summer. The trees are going to sprout fine. They're all going to have leaves. It's when the trees get stressed out this summer and it gets to be dry out, well, I noticed the damage, if any, that I caused. And hopefully it may be a slight shock and nothing too serious, and that the trees will recover by growing new roots over the next couple years. So I had a good sized locust tree that had fallen before I bought the property behind the shed, and I figured before I put the shed in, I better get it out of there. So I took the time to pull it down off the hillside and cut it up. After I got the tree out, I just had to get rid of all the extra soil, and that's what I'm doing here. The base is down to as far as I can get it down. So now I've gotten the pad down as far as I can go. I've leveled it, and I've actually tamped it so that the soil, before I start putting anything on top of it, is firm. I put a pretty good heavy weed fabric down prior to getting my stone, and I just have it, I didn't pin it. A lot of people will pin it with fabric pins. I just put some stones on top of it and then started putting the crushed stone on top of it. Now to move the stone onto the base, I first put 2 or 3 buckets of stone down and then leveled it out about 2 inches across the fabric. I don't want to just drive on the fabric, because if you move your wheels or if your soil is loose at all, it'll pull the fabric in from the ends. So little by little, I would put a bucket of stone, spread it out about 2 inches thick, and then I could get another bucket, and then I could start driving on the stone to move more stone to the back, little by little, covering up all the fabric. And I just kept doing this till I had stone all the way back and all the way across the pad. Once I got this all in, then I went back with the tamper and graded it and leveled it again. Now I'm prepping to start the dry stone wall. I used a string level to run a string down, for one for straightness and another so that the top of the first stone is pretty much even with the string, or at least in my case the center of the string. It's just a guide. You probably won't see it, but I also had a 4-foot level, and you had to level each stone individually and then go back with the level and run the level across 2 or 3 stones at a time and make sure that the level was touching all 3 stones, that it was a level across and a level back. So side to side and front to back, that the stones were level. Now the one thing that I caused my own problems here is, instead of getting a load of what they call 1As, or small crushed stone, I just tried to use the runner crush that I used as the base. I was rushing and trying to get things done, so the wall came out okay and I got it leveled, but it took probably twice as long as it should have, because the runner crush that you use as a base and that you want hard is made of crushed stone from dust all the way up to 2.5 inches, everything in between mixed, so that when you tamp it, it locks the stone in place. It almost feels like cement. Okay, so let's go back over how I built the base. So the base, I use what they call runner crush, or crusher run, whichever. You want to put 4 to 6 inches of that down on top of the fabric, and you want to tamp it and level it the best you can, because the shed needs to be perfectly level for them to place it on. After that, you should get either some sand or what they call washed 1As, which is a smaller crushed stone, and you want to use that as a leveling agent. So you put it on top of your runner crush, which is semi-level but not perfect. You use these small stones or sand as a medium so that you can get a nice level surface, and then you tamp that also. After that, behind the wall, I prefer using wash stone. So what you'll see is I put 6 inches of wash stone behind the wall. Before I do that, I actually put another layer of fabric down and up the side of the wall of the dirt, so that I have a good 6 inches to a foot of wash stone behind the wall, and then there's a layer of fabric and then the dirt. So when I pack the dirt in, it doesn't get mixed in with the stone. And then you're going to want to put that fabric on top of the stone. You want to keep the stone about 3 or 4 inches below the top of the wall, so that you can put the fabric and then 3 or 4 inches of soil on top of it. So if you want to put grass on top of it, or if you want to put mulch, you got some room. If you wanted to plant right behind a wall like that, I would recommend going back past the stone itself. You could lower the stone, but the more wash gravel you have behind the wall, the least hydraulic pressure you'll have, especially during the fall and winter when you get more rain and it starts freezing. You want to get that water out from behind that wall. You'll also see at the end that I put drain pipe in, so that the water goes through the wash stone, the round stone, into the drain pipe and then out the wall, so I have very little pressure behind that wall. So I mentioned the geotextile fabric. You want to make sure you have fabric between the soil and any of the stone layers so that you don't mix the soil with the stone. Like I said before, I probably can't repeat it enough, because that will break down the strength of the stone barriers or the base without that fabric. So make sure you put that fabric in. The last thing I want to talk about on this diagram is the wall stone itself. Most of the dry wall stones, at least the small ones, have a built-in little knob off the back of the stone that is used as an offset. So it makes it easier for you to put the stones in. So you just lay the stone on top, you slide it back until that offset drops down, and then you pull it forward until it's tight to the stone below it. And it gives the wall a slight slope backwards, which also gives it strength. And then those little nubs, the pressure of the wall pushing against the nubs will stop the wall from moving forward. So here, a couple other tools that I'm using. If you can see it, the little yellow thing, a torpedo level. It's only like 10 inches long, but I use that to actually level the stones from front to back, the short length of the wall, so that I don't have to mess around using a big level. I use either a 2-foot level or a 4-foot level to go across stones from left to right, and then the little torpedo to level the stone from front to back. You'll also see that I have a pry bar that I use to tamp down the tops of the stones. Plus, I also got a piece of 4x4 there. Once I lay 3 or 4 stones, I'll lay that 4x4 across all the stones and then level them a final level all at once, just by pounding on the top of that 4x4 in 2 or 3 locations. It'll even those out across that whole area, and it works pretty good. So here's a picture after I got 3 layers done. You see the other thing I didn't talk about is you offset the stones so that the stone above crosses the joints on the layer below, so you have a basket weave pattern to the wall, and that also supports strength. And it doesn't look too bad. It came out pretty good, fairly level, but using you got there, it's cement, so you have to finesse, but at the same time you got to power through it a little bit to get what you want. Here's a picture of the stone, the size. Okay, now here's a picture of the fabric that I have behind the wall. You see how much here I got washed round stone as the filler behind the wall. I actually like the round stone, not the crushed stone. Again, the crushed stone is great for compaction and for using as a base. The round stone you want to use behind the walls so that it's always loose and it's letting water percolate. There's one end of the drain tile, that's the closed end, and then it comes out. This is the sloped end down here at the end of the wall. Then I put the fabric down, then I put the drain pipe on top the fabric at the bottom, and then I filled it with washed gravel, and then I'll cover the stone back up and then put soil on top of that. That way the soil doesn't blend in or mixed in with that stone, and it always stays clean for filtration of the water that pushes out of that wall. Then it'll go down through the gravel and then out the drain tile. So we're getting close to the end. I'm just finishing up the wall here. The last final box, and then cutting the drain tile off and putting a small little cap. I actually want to get something else for the cap, but for right now they got this little green cap that you can put on just so you don't get animals in it. You know, you don't have to put something on it, but I don't want animals to get in it. And finally, the shed arrives. I don't have a lot of video of him bringing it up the driveway, except for this small piece using my iPhone. They have a little crawler that looks, I can't describe it. It's small though. It's amazing. It pulls it all the way up the driveway, and then he puts it in place, and he set it right down. You know, you got to have it perfectly level though, or they moan and groan. Got it right, very parallel to the wall, and that's it, folks. So, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned something.